right.
You have taste in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
I would recommend TypeScript. Yeah, it writes a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded, incidentally, of Rust here.
Rust. This almost makes me happy that I didn't become a supermodel.
Cooper and Netix.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust.
Data Topics.
Welcome to the Data.
Welcome to the Data Topics podcast. Hello and welcome to Data Topics Unplugged, your casual corner of the web where we discuss what's new in data every week. From movie generation to clicking bots, everything goes. Check us out on LinkedIn, Twitch. I don't know if X are still there. Feel free to leave a comment or question, or send us something on datatopics@dataroots.io. Today is the 25th of October of 2024. My name is Murillo. I'll be hosting you today. I am not joined by Bart. As soon as he's away, I'll just start with all this. But I am joined by a good friend of the pod as well, Vitale.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
How are you?
No, I'm actually very happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks.
It's always a pleasure to come and join you guys.
Yes. No, it's always a pleasure to have you, Vitale. So really happy that you're here with a lot of cool stuff to share. How you been? Actually, I feel like it's been a while. I feel like you had some updates. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, it has been a while.
It's okay. It's a safe space. You can go friends here. It's okay.
No, I don't know which kind of updates, but yeah, everything is okay.
Everything is okay. I'll leave it at that then. I'll leave it at that. But okay. What do we have for today? Maybe let's see here. Meta MovieGen. What is Meta MovieGen? I guess it's not like it's like a meta topic in a way. What is this about?
Yeah, lately I got really interested into generative AI models for video generation, because I think after, I don't know how many years after GPT-3, and ChatGPT is already 3 years more or less.
Maybe
Maybe
feel like
3 years.
It goes by so fast, huh?
Goes super fast.
Yeah.
But now we are not super impressed anymore. If there is a new model from OpenAI that is 0.2% better than the previous one, we are like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we almost expect it at this point. It's like a new iPhone, right? Like, yeah, okay, it's a bit better. It's a bit bigger. Better. It's okay.
Definitely. And until, I don't know, they will release probably GPT-5 and it will be artificial general intelligence. We don't know yet. But so far, it has been the world of LLMs is, I don't know, less, I think, at least for me, exciting than the past. Before it was way more exciting.
Why do you think that?
Because I think now models are reaching a level where it's almost impossible to distinguish the previous version to the new one. Maybe you can feel that it's a bit better than before in certain tasks. Sometimes it's the same. Sometimes it's even worse. So you need to find the edge cases where it's really, wow, really way better than before. While when we had, for example, GPT-3 compared to GPT-2 was another planet.
Yeah.
And also the same, I will say, with GPT-4. GPT-4o was, okay, fair. I can accept this. Of course, let's wait again for GPT-5. Maybe it will be again
do you think it's
game
like
changer, but
do you think it's exactly like iPhones? Like from one iPhone to the other, you don't see. But also at the same time, though, to be fair, if you skip a few generations, you can notice a big difference between iPhones. And I don't know if it's the same between models, right? Like if you skip a few generations, maybe you're gonna look like, okay, I didn't see the incremental difference, but if you take a few back, you can see more clearly.
No, definitely. Maybe it's just for us because we are in the field, so we see constantly new
Yeah.
things happening every week. So
Yeah.
we see all the intermediate steps between one big thing to the other.
Yeah.
But I didn't say this because I want to discredit the work of OpenAI or
Sam,
other...
if you're listening, you know Vitaly is talking smack here.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just because I think there are still fields where we have better impressive results from a few months ago to now, for example, fields that are still, let's say, unexplored or where we didn't have the real big thing yet. And for example, video generation is one of these, because there are many companies working in the field, some commercial companies, some well-known companies like OpenAI. They announced their model Sora already a few months ago. But Meta is the first, let's say, big company investing a lot of money on the field and releasing, well, it's not released yet, the model yet, but they are already disclosing all the informations around this model, the results, and also how good it is compared to the others, with some benchmarks.
Yeah.
They are releasing also data sets to compare video generation model to have uniform benchmarks.
Oh.
So I found it really interesting, and I got excited about the topic. So that's why I wanted to explore it a bit with you.
So real quick, Sora, the OpenAI model that you mentioned, I put it on the screen for people that are just listening. This is not as new, right? But I remember, well, it's still impressive, right? I guess it's like that fatigue effect, right? This is from how long ago was this? Do you remember?
I think it was spring, beginning of summer, 24.
So yeah, basically they in the page that I'm sharing, I actually haven't used it, but just a small recap. It's pretty impressive. There were a lot of rumors, let's say, that they're using game generated videos to help with creating data. It's pretty impressive in terms of looking at the physics, all these things. But there were a few glitches, let's say, that like I think this is what I'm sharing on the screen now. I think it was appearing puppies or wolves or something, someone running backwards on the treadmill and stuff like that. But it was very, very cool. And now the one that you're talking about now is from Meta, which is, what's the name of this model?
MovieGen.
MovieGen, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a family of models. Okay. I would like to share with you also another video. It's a comparison between what we used to do in 2023 and now 2024. Because I don't know if you remember the video where Will Smith was eating spaghetti.
Yeah.
It was the first AI video generated with a powerful enough machine learning model. It was a bit disturbing, but you had the feeling of a person doing something, performing an activity on the screen. And now when you see the new models, there is like a wow effect, because we went from this to, oh my God, we are getting closer and closer.
Yeah. I think in the beginning, hold on, I'm just taking the video here. I think in the beginning, there was a bit of a, oh, wow, yeah, if you kind of look, you can kind of see a person's hand here, like, whoa, this is crazy. And now I'm going to put the video that you just shared. Let me just make sure there's no audio. And we'll put this all in the show notes for people that are just listening. So this shows the 2023, so it's not even that old, huh? And then you see that the face is it's looking back
not
now,
the best, right?
Yeah, looking back now is like crazy, yeah.
Exactly.
This is 2023, yeah. It's not that long ago.
And if you check, for example, even if you go back to the Sora webpage and you see their demo videos, they are crazy. Like the first one, this one.
Yeah. So
what is insane?
Can you describe what you're seeing for people that are just listening?
Yeah, basically, is a woman, is a person walking around in a street that resemble Tokyo, I will say.
Yeah.
So full of lights and neons and You can see all the lights reflected from the water on the ground.
Yeah.
So the scene is really dynamic.
Yes.
And also
the lady's wearing sunglasses, and now it's zooming her face, and you can see the reflection on her sunglasses, and it looks like it reflects the actual streets, right? Like
Exactly.
the perspectives and all these things, and it's pretty crazy, yeah. Like the
Because,
level of detail, it's impressive.
it's insane. It's insane. And because, for example, we have now a lot of machine learning models to generate images. And there they need to, of course, images can be represented by a matrix. We can imagine it like a canvas, right? Where pixels are what we actually see, so the color on the screen. And it should have some special, let's say, uniformity, because you should preserve the context. If a person should be there, okay, you know that eyes are here, then you have your nose, your mouth. So it's a sort of spatial implementation of the knowledge of a person, and you should have a context only in space, because you simply see a frame of the scene, for example. While for video is way more difficult, because you have the spatial context, the spatial uniformity, but also during time. Because if you generate multiple frames, you need to keep, let's say, the same context across time. So, for example, the person there was walking in the street, so it was turning around. If you had, for example, before some lights in the background, and then the lights were reflecting somehow in the sunglasses, the model needs to remember that something was there, for example. So you need to preserve this information not only in the space, in the pixel space, but also during time.
Yeah.
And this is way more difficult, and it's still an open challenge. But it seems that OpenAI and Meta are getting closer and closer to the solution for that.
And is this this paper family? Oh, sorry, this models or family of models, right? From Meta, is this open source? Because I know Llama is also a very, very good general model, I guess. That is also, it's open source, right? It actually became a go-to for a lot of people, right?
Exactly.
So is this also open source?
Now Llama 3.2, I think, is the best open source model. This family of models is not open sourse yet.
No.
Hopefully it will in the future. But what is crazy before, for example, the release of Sora and this, is that now I have all the informations about what they did, the training data, the training process, the model. So it's not open source, but it's at least open knowledge. While OpenAI, basically, that should be open.
The open
is
AI
not
is not
open at all.
Yeah.
If you take back for example, the Sora webpage, for example, they have a report blog or technical blog or something where they say, okay, here we train the model.
We do stuff.
The model does this more or less. It's fine.
It's magic.
It's magic.
Just trust us. It works. It's cool.
Exactly. So you don't know which training data they used. Did they use a YouTube video? Maybe. Did they use 3D generated videos, for example, from game engines? We don't know. While there, if you go to download paper,
yes, this
people from Meta, created a 92-page report paper
it's
with a lot of
It's
technical exactly details. And I think for the community, for the research community, it's really important to know what they are doing and how they are doing. Not only to say, okay, maybe here you're doing something wrong, but at least to help, to give back to academia, to all the other researchers working on the same topic and publishing results, intermediate results that are leading us to this kind of models.
Really cool, indeed. And for the people that are just listening as well, we'll put all the links on the show notes. There is the paper, and there is also accompanying blog posts as well, so something I guess more easily digestible for for people that are not as into the research part. And they're very cool video snippets. Like there's a baby hippo, and now it's a lady like holding something with apparently in Greece. But the videos are very, very, very high quality. So
Yeah, they are incredible. And we are discussing about a model, but it's not exactly correct, because in reality, they trained a family of models, MovieGen. The biggest one has 30 billion parameters. Nowadays, more or less, we compare everything to, I don't know, GPT models that have 175 billion parameters, kind of things. So it's relatively small compared to large language models. But yet you need a big, let's say, GPU cluster to train it. They also specified their GPU compute to train this kind of models, and also to run inference on these models. So probably it won't run on the laptop. But it's really interesting. So they released the 3 models. The biggest has 30 billion parameters. And then they use this as a sort of foundational model to create other 3 models specific for certain tasks and activities. Because one of the tasks is video generation, so text to video. You can describe something like via natural language, and then you will get a video as output. But then they also created models for precise video editing. For example, you already have a video. If you put the page again, the presentation page again, for example, there is a guy running, and then they describe like, okay, now put blue gadgets. I don't remember what.
For this page or for the
yes, exactly. One? If you go down, I think indeed. Yeah, for example, you can personalize video. For example, there you can say add, change the style or add elements to the page, and then they will edit your video, the input video, with your elements. And
so basically, you have a video, and then so for the people following again on the audio, there's precise video editing, and they're just showing basically a whole bunch of examples, right? So you can say, so this one is a penguin in the ice. I'm surrounded by ice, basically, and you can say, "Oh, dress the penguin with a nice dress," and then you will understand what you mean and change the pixels, basically the pixel values of just the part that needs to be changed, right? This is very, very impressive. So there's also a very big component of text understanding.
Exactly. Actually, in the paper is very well described. So I will invite you to listeners to take a look, because it's actually easy to understand. But they mentioned the main challenges with video generation, because when you have a text to image model, it's easy to find captions for images already online, or maybe it's easy to create, for example, a caption for a video, for an image. And then you can train your model to take another similar caption, a short one, 10 words, for example, and generate a consistent image. While for video is way more difficult, because you need a lot of information to generate video captioning good enough to represent the same information you want to see on the screen with the video. Because the main idea behind all these models is that the concept of a penguin, for example, that we saw before, it doesn't matter how you represent it. You can describe it by word or via an image, but the concept is the same. So the model is trying to understand what is a penguin and what does it mean, a penguin walking on ice, for example. So you describe it with text, you describe it with image, you create a representation of this information, and then the model can generate back maybe with some variations, something different. So to do the same with videos, you need more textual information to let the model understand, okay, this group of frames, the meaning is this.
Yeah.
So that you can describe it later. And to do that, they used Llama to enhance the video captions, for example.
Okay.
To be a bit more descriptive.
So Llama already had some understanding of images, because I think I saw on the landing page for the AI and Meta that they do talk how Llama is multimodal, and multimodal meaning it's one model that can serve for many purposes, right? Different modalities, meaning text, video. Yeah, I'm not sure about video, but text, images, and etc. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, here the big word ones are 90 billion parameters. This is very cool.
So they create the pipeline to basically, because the idea behind the scientific idea, let's say the formula, the mathematical formula of what they want to optimize by training this model, it's relatively simple to understand. But then the actual implementation is hard, and they need to have create some workarounds, some tricks, some, handcrafted methods in order to train these massive models. And it's really interesting to read the paper because you see also the challenges of these big organizations and what they did to. They basically used a lot of resources.
Yeah, I can imagine.
to overcome these issues. For example, for me, it was impressive to get to know the cluster they used to train the MovieGen models. They used, I think, 6,100 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, so the latest one.
Okay.
Each of them consume 700 watts of energy. So you can have a general idea how many, let's say, millions of dollars this requires.
Yeah.
Also the work of all these people managing the infrastructure, coding this, collecting the data. And now they are writing everything nicely in a report paper. And I hope
very nice
that they will release the model as well.
Yeah, to be seen. Well, because do they have any proprietary models this far?
Not yet. But at this stage, they are working together with, let's say, creatives, with artists.
Okay.
In order to give these models to professionals, I would say. So I'm not sure, are they going to create some sort of product around that, maybe for, these people that need it for work? Or is just that they want to test the model with experts and then release it to users? I still don't know.
But then if it does, it will be another product that Meta offers.
Can be. Unfortunately, I live in Europe. I couldn't try. No, unfortunately. Thankfully, I live in Europe. I couldn't try Meta AI, so their platform for all their generative AI models, because it's still blocked for people living in Europe. So I don't know. But it could be that it will be a feature there. Maybe you need to, I don't know, maybe you will have X amount of minutes of video every day and you need to pay something to get more. I don't know. A bit like OpenAI does. It's really important to mention, just to finish, because this seems amazing. And maybe tomorrow we can create a movie from start to finish. Or if you don't like your...
a whole podcast.
A whole podcast, exactly. But there are still some limitations. For example, if you look closely, you will see some artifacts in the video. And also the maximum length at the moment is 16 seconds. So it's not super long, because also it takes a lot of resources already to generate this 16 seconds of video. And also it can be really dangerous, because one of their models, we have the precise editing, but also you can somehow add some context, add some, let's say, conditions to the video generation model. And for example, a condition can be your picture. So you can say, a man joining a podcast with my face. So we'll probably generate a person with my face there.
I see.
And you can already imagine how dangerous this could be if they release it in the wild.
I think also there's the elections in the US coming up soon. I feel like it's
yeah, the deep fakes are already here, and somehow, especially for people that are not aware of these technologies, are impossible to identify. So imagine if we even have something even more powerful. So
Yeah, maybe also to illustrate what you're just describing now. So this is they call it. I mean, on the blog post they put it here as personalized videos, and the idea is that they put a picture of a woman, and then they basically change it to have her as a DJ on a pink jacket, spin records, and all these things. So yeah, it looks very easy to manufacture, and I think if it's something that
Yeah.
you see, it's more appealing, right? I think people have a higher tendency to believe something is real if there's a video of it, right? A realistic video, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but do you think that's enough reason for Meta to be cautious and not open source this?
Well, it's hard to say because as AI enthusiast, I would like, no, please open source it as soon as possible, give to people the opportunity to play around with it, improve it so that we can go faster towards, a very nice tool. We can do a lot of cool stuff, for example. I'm not a creative person, but sometimes, I don't know, I have some ideas. So for people like me, it will be important to quickly describe what I mean and then generate an image, text, or audio, for example. But I also understand that there are people that can take advantage of this and recorders. So, but it's
the world
with
huh?
everything else,
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah.
So
True. Curious to see, and maybe
Curious
if
to
they
see.
do release it, they do open source it, I'll be very curious to maybe can take it for a spin and tell us what was your
Yeah,
experience, and then you
exactly,
can come back
exactly.
here. One other thing related to this, so we've talked a lot about Llama, so open source models, and there are other ones as well. One thing that I kind of see a bit more, there's like Ollama. I don't know if you ever heard of Ollama. Maybe I'll put it also here. And I never used it, so I'll start with that. But what I understood from Ollama is that it's basically a way to run models locally. So what I heard as well is that it's from the same people that created Docker. So you have like a model file. So it's really analogous to Docker, right? So basically you have a model file, and then makes it very easy for you to run locally.
Exactly.
As you mentioned, Llama models are really big. So it's not something you can probably just run on your machine. And that's where I came across this framework, I guess. It's called Unsloth. The tagline is easily fine-tuned and train LLMs. Get faster with Unsloth. And it's a super cute mascot, by the way.
Super cute.
Super cute. And then the idea, this is for people that want to fine-tune your models, right? So
Wow.
right below it says train your own ChatGPT in 24 hours instead of 30 days. And then I think it also quantizes the models and all these things. So faster inference. So since you're fine-tuning your data, you get better accuracy, less data usage. And it is an open source project here. So going on the GitHub page, you can see here fine-tune for free. Llama 3.2, 3 billion parameters. There's a notebook here. So they also claim that it's 2% faster and 60% less memory usage.
Wow.
Right. So this is really like you take one of these models, open source models, and then you can since the models are open, the weights are open, you can start from there and you can fine tune for the test that you want this to be optimized for.
That's crazy.
So I haven't tried this yet, but this looks cool. But yeah.
That's what I like, for example, from open source AI, because it's true now, let's say, even universities or common people like us cannot train, the model, right? Be as good as what people at Meta and OpenAI are doing. But when they release it open source, there are crazy people in the world that they will take it, study it, improve it, make it faster, more efficient, and release it again online. So I think it's very cool.
Yeah, the way I also see is like there's a bit of a pendulum, like there's research that kind of pushes the boundary of what's possible, and maybe the meta models and even I wouldn't say OpenAI because it's not open source, but and then the pendulum swings back and say, okay, we know that this is possible, but people can still not use it because of operational things, right? Maybe they don't have the hardware, maybe they don't have this, maybe they don't have that. And then this is for an example, right, of how to make these things more accessible. Another popular one from a while ago already is the Llama CPP.
I think this was the first actually example of this. It was crazy at the time.
Yes, maybe for the people that don't know what this is, do you want to? We have a quick TLDR.
Yeah, well, as I see it, is that like Meta released the Llama. They open sourced it, even the first model.
Yeah.
They have a nice repository, but for example, you needed to clone it, have the right NVIDIA GPU. You need a lot of resources. Then there was like a superstar programmer. I don't know how to define it.
Yeah.
This guy was like, no worries, I can take care of it.
I got it.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Now this model will run on your, let's say, MacBook or
On a
laptop,
potato.
whatever, on a potato. So they used basically they created a new project called Llama CPP, where they basically recreated the full API rewritten in C++ to take advantage of low-level hardware instructions in order to speed up the model inference, so make it accessible to more and more people.
Yeah, I think so. The first project, I think this is the guy that did it. So this is the star programmer, Gerganov. I'm not sure, probably butchering his name. For the people following, we have his GitHub profile, and he also did the Whisper CPP, which was something similar. Whisper was think audio to text, right? So basically, he just ported this to be able to run on your hardware, basically, right? And I think he also did some other tricks like quantizing models, right? So, and as I understand, quantization is like you have a whole bunch of numbers. The numbers are floating point numbers, right? So it's like 3.012722256, whatever. But maybe you don't need all those digits after the comma, so you can just kind of make it shorter, and then it's have faster inference, and you use less memory as well. So it was a whole project about it. I think was one of the first ones, like you said, to really made a lot of noise, because now you can run your own hardware. You don't need spatial, you don't need cloud, and all these things. And that's kind of how I see the pendulum a bit going, right? Which I think is really cool. I think it relates a lot to MLOps, and I don't have to tell you MLOps as an ambassador of MLflow, one of the leading MLOps doing in this space, right? But I think that also excites me, how we can make these things more practical, right? I think, maybe it's a good way to put it. Research makes it possible, and then these initiatives, which I guess it is a different branch of research, makes it what did I say? Practical. So possible.
Wow,
and
I like
practical.
the pendulum analogy and also this sentence. So let's note it
You're gonna
down.
steal it.
We can reuse it for something else.
Yeah, indeed. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I heard." It's like, "Oh yeah, research makes it perfect." It's like I know what you listen to. But it's very cool.
Let's make T-shirts.
Yeah.
With a pendulum.
Datatopics Unplugged.
Exactly. And in the back, research makes it possible.
So this is only possible for open source models, right? Things that we can actually see through end to end. But there are some models as well that are not open source, but they're super cool. And this week, actually, there was a model that was released, Claude 3.5 Sonnets or Haiku.
Yeah, the full family, I think.
But there was already Claude 3.5 or no?
Claude 3, yes.
Claude 3, so it wasn't 3.5.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Because I think there is a war happening in US between, let's say, this kind of big companies that are releasing LLMs and software around LLMs. And it's funny because every time there is a new release from OpenAI, claims to be better. Anthropic is like,
I can do that too.
Just wait another month.
Yeah.
So indeed, they release a new family of models. Haiku or Sonnet, I don't remember, is the largest one. Yeah, it's the Sonnet.
Yeah.
And they claim to be better in all the usual benchmarks that we all know now than GPT-4o.
Yeah, a lot better, right?
A lot better. way better than Gemini. Gemini is like the brother that nobody cares.
It's like the ugly duck.
Yeah,
right?
it's the ugly
like
duck.
the black sheep of the family. Is like everyone's like, ugh, embarrassing. Like get shit together, bro. Like,
they put it in the benchmark just for
just it's Google still, right? So maybe just to.
I think even if tomorrow they do something crazy like the best model ever, people are like,
yeah, I was like,
fine.
But I also think, for Google, even when they released a model as well, that the demo looked really cool, but then turns out it was very, it was just marketing, So I think they lost a lot of credits, right?
Yeah, it's true. They're trying, but yeah.
But so this model, Claude 3.5 Sonnets, that's the bigger one. Then there's Haiku. From what they're showing is actually much better, right? So maybe an example like high school math competition, GPT 4.0 has 9.3% and Claude has 16%.
Exactly.
So it's not like a 1% or 0.5%. It's a significant difference apparently, right? Actually, I don't remember where I saw. For code. So the zero shot. 90% for ChatGPT 4.0 and 93%. So apparently, according to this benchmark, if you're a developer like we are, this is the model that you should be using today. Are you using this already? I think you.
I tried it yesterday quickly.
Yeah. Amazed or a new iPhone next year. I'll buy another one.
It was good, but like nothing. Because it's 0.2 better than previous one, and
you don't feel it, right? It's not like
exactly.
This code that he produced is 0.2 better, no 0.2% better, right? Like it's
you kind of feel it, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But
and maybe it's for the people that also are not familiar. So ChatGPT is from OpenAI, and Claude is from Anthropic, which is a very big player in this space.
Yeah,
right?
But I want to be fair, and we have to say that in this comparison, they didn't mention the O1 model from OpenAI.
But do you think they should
reason a bit better?
But do you think they should? No, because I feel like if this doesn't do reasoning, right? Because the O1, like for example, for code completion, if you have VS Code, you're not gonna have the O1 model.
Yeah, that's also true.
Right, like you're typing and then halfway typing, it freezes. And it's like, oh, let me think about that. And it takes like 10 seconds. And it's like, did you want to say X? It's like, yeah, okay. So I'm not sure if it would be a fair comparison, but it is true. I think for some of these tasks, right, like a high school math competition or whatever, like these more analytical things that you probably could afford to wait a bit longer for a response, maybe you could also compare that. But yeah, sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I wanted to ask you because I think the real juicy reveal was something else from.
Yes, I was gonna say this is not the only thing, right? So they have computer use for automating operations. Is this the actual name? Yeah. So we're also introducing, and for the people just listening, I have the announcement page, the announcement post from Anthropic about these models. And on the second paragraph, they have, we're also introducing a groundbreaking new capability in public beta, computer use. And then they go on, right? I'm not going to go read the whole thing. But computer use is what? Basically, they are enabling the model to click through your computer, right? It has access to what's visible on your screen. And then you can kind of send operations, like, oh, click here, click there, type this, do that, right click here, which looks cool,
but also weird.
It's also weird, and it's also a bit like, I don't know, are you gonna just trust it? It's like,
I don't know.
It's a bit.
Like, it will start sending emails to your boss.
Yeah,
transfer
money to Anthropic. It's like.
Exactly. They claim it's a responsible use, but I'm not sure what this means
for them, right? Like it's like, trust me, bro. Like maybe while we're talking here.
So I'm Sam, and I'm one of the researchers here at Anthropic. Computer use is something that we felt
and I also saw a video
today.
From maybe I can actually show the Fireship.
Move over to the CRM and try and find something that's going to happen. Is Claude's going to start taking screenshots?
Yeah, so maybe this is a bit of a, for the people following again, It's like you have the Google Sheets, and then you can also ask like, do this, do that. You can give tasks, and it will kind of figure out, click through, create formulas, input text, and then come out with your spreadsheet as you want. On the Fireship YouTube video, I don't know, for people that don't know Fireship, it's a very cool YouTuber that talks about like tech topics, I guess. It's like a lot of JavaScript,
Everything,
a lot of
programming.
like a lot of programming stuff. Not as focused on data and AI, but it did cover that, and he did try. So one of the tasks that he gave to this model was to get the SVG for his YouTube channel. And first thing he did was on a landing page, and then he shows that he finds that there's a Firefox icon, and he clicks on it, and then he goes to the Fireship website, and then he see the logo, then he right clicks the logo, and then he gets the SVG. So it looked very complete, it looked very cool, but he also says that a lot of the times it just crashes. Right?
Okay.
And he also mentioned that because, so as I understand, you have like the input, which is like the screen kind of, and then you have the model that kind of processes, and then it has an action, and then there's another screen. And so basically there's a loop, right? And it keeps iterating until either it crashes or it completes the task.
Okay.
So he also said that you spend a lot of money on this.
Wow. Okay.
Like a lot of money. That's what he was saying, right? Especially, I guess, if you don't find the answer, right? Like you just kind of keeps iterating, and then it just crashes. But how do you feel about this, Vitaly?
But we were discussing about this during lunch yesterday, and people were like, "Oh, this kind of technology will take our job," and I was like, "Finally!" Like,
it's like, damn, I was tired. I need a break, anyways.
No, but on a serious turn, I think there are situations where it could be useful. I'm thinking to, for example, companies that sell the software, how's it called, like robotic process automation, something like that. If you have repetitive tasks in your laptop, in your computer, and you don't have a proper way to automate them, maybe you could use a technology like this to automate a boring process over time.
True.
While for daily activities, for the normal usage of a laptop, I think it's useless. Also because I don't know, maybe it's just my point of view, but I enjoy to use the laptop a bit. So if there is a software there doing stuff for me, okay, what should I do? I don't know. These are my first impressions, but of course, let's see how it goes, because I remember last year, I think it was in December, when there was a company releasing the Rabbit01 software that it was supposed to automate everything. If you want to listen Spotify, he had like some actions, the large action model, all these kind of things. In the end, it was a bit of a scam. So I'm curious to see if Anthropic is doing, I don't know, something different, like how to use these language models to understand the right action to do and execute it properly on the system. I think this can be useful to know. I'm curious for sure.
I think. Well, I also think it could be very powerful. I think again they're kind of pushing a bit the boundaries, right? By the way, one thing: if you're gonna run this, I would recommend you run it in a Docker image, which is also something that it is possible, right? So you don't have the thing having access to your laptop and the whatever files and whatever. So you can restrict it a bit and safeguard it. So that's what I would recommend. So I think, yeah, indeed, they're trying to push a bit this, like, you have an environment. It's almost like, I think, a bit of like reinforcement learning as well. How you have an environment that reacts to a certain action, and then you have your agent that kind of takes another action, and then you have to kind of reach your goal. Very analogous, right? It's not exactly like that. But I wonder if this is a bit of a hacky way to do it, because from what I saw, it really looked like it was a screenshot of your screen, right? Which I'm not. That's a bit the impression I got from the videos and the announcement and all these things. But I wonder if there will be a more proper way to do it, because, for example, everything that you really do on your UI, right, on your desktop, if you open a folder, you could do this on a terminal, for example, right? If you're navigating the web, you can also do it like in headless mode, right? And I know it's not like, for us, it's not nice, but I would imagine that's a better it's better for machines, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And I would imagine that even if you were to do these things, if it wouldn't be better to kind of have something that doesn't use the UI. I don't know, for some reason I feel like people do this because that's how we reason and that's what was there, and it was just easier to just kind of do that. But I wonder if the performance wouldn't be better for understanding, and maybe you won't need as big of a model to do these things if you actually have a machine representation
Yeah, I see what you mean.
of this environment, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if also the performance would be better or not. I mean, granted, there's probably a lot of work that you need to do, right? Because now you need to understand like a headless web page, and you need to do A and B and C. But I'm not sure. Still cool.
Definitely cool.
But I feel like
how it works.
Yeah. Curious to see as well if there's going to be any story in the news, you know, like, oh, this guy deleted a prod database because he was using the computer. You know, like,
It will happen for sure.
Everyone's money.
blame
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, wasn't me. Blame Anthropic, you know. Exactly. It's like they said he was a good bot, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But I don't know if AI is trying to exterminate humanity. I think this could be the first step, right?
Yeah, right. It's like, oh yeah, just give it that. It's fine. It's cool,
Yeah,
bro.
it's fine.
It's fine. Just let me just give me. Let me just click.
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
give full access to your laptop.
It's like, just yeah, man, you got it. Yeah, you know, it's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. In a few years, we'll know.
Exactly. But it's interesting to see how, in the end, we are not changing our human to machines interface, but we are trying to adapt AI to use them.
Yeah,
a bit.
Yeah, indeed. I'm not sure if for the Rabbit Hole one, for example, when there were other AI devices that in the end they kind of just look like an iPhone. And I'm wondering as well if we kind of just optimize all that there was to optimize the interface. Like, I don't know, what would be a better device, like an AI phone, kind of, right? Like the iPhone is already touchscreen, is already any layout you want. So, yeah, not sure how to make.
Do you think we will see a better device anytime soon?
It's difficult, right? Like, I don't know. It's like, I remember there was the human pin. That I guess the only difference between that and my iPhone is that one you could clip on your shirt and it just stays with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Like if you have an iPhone, it's like a hand-sized device that is touchscreen. So whatever you want to have a button here, you can create a button here.
Yeah.
You want to do that, then you do that. I'm not sure if there's a lot of wiggle room there to optimize.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how the new Meta glasses will evolve.
Yeah, they released it, right? Like
maybe they can add some AI to.
That is true. That is true
somehow. But I'm not sure.
But I think it also because it's like a Ray-Ban, right?
Yeah.
So I also think that it needs to be a bit more stylish, to be honest. What was I saw one picture, it was like there was even a joke, I think it was, I don't remember, Saturday Night Live or something, that it was Mark Zuckerberg with the glasses, and then they made a joke that it looked like the Minion.
Yeah.
You know?
But they look already better than what we got before. Like,
the
Google
better.
glasses were weird, or
like, I'm glad that someone is doing it, but I wouldn't wear it in public yet. Like,
exactly.
So I put a picture on the screen, it's like it's super bulky still. I mean, it's cool, but I saw videos of people using the Vision Pro in the US. I think it was New York. They're just walking with it on the street, and it's a bit weird. It's like a bit like I don't know, Black Mirror-y thingy,
exactly.
It's a bit strange, but
also their commercial was weird because sometimes I think commercials for AI are super weird. Like with this Apple device, the guy was taking pictures of his daughter during a birthday party, and okay, it's cool that you can take picture with your VR device, but your daughter is looking at you and you have a weird thing in your face. Or another weird commercial was when they released when they announced Apple Intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So one guy was walking around. He met another person. The person had a dog. So the guy, instead of asking to the person, for example, oh, Murillo, this is a cute dog. What is I want to know all the characteristics of it.
Yeah.
He took a picture. He asked Apple Intelligence, like in front of the dog owner. It was like, okay, you can simply ask the guy, right? So it was a bit
like
weird.
for the extreme introverts, right? Like,
exactly.
Like...
And then the guy, it's funny because if there is a follow up of the commercial, yeah, you can pet the dog. It's fine. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to kill you.
It's okay. It's okay. I can talk too. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe one the last topic then. Before we call it a pod, you mentioned like these weird AI advertisements. I did talk about Deno a bit while in the past, which is like let's call it a Node.js 2.0 from the same creator. And Deno 2 was making some noise, right? And they had a lot of expectation. And actually, they did release it. But not only they released it, but they released it with a marketing video. I'm putting here for the people following, I'm putting this on the screen right now with no audio. But it's basically the actual creator of Deno, with the same creative Node, that he just kind of talks about and how Deno is supposed to uncomplicate JavaScript. You should make things simpler with like TypeScript, JavaScript, all these things. So the video is really, really funny. I think it was like the best framework marketing video kind of thing, right? Like there's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of like even the thing with Bun, that they take a little like the jab at Bun, which is a competitor, and they have some, I don't even know if they're actual developers or they're just actors, right? But like they just kind of show everything. They also talk about how Node is not safe. And then as he's saying that, the guy puts a USB on his laptop and some people come and like rip his shirt off and steal everything. So I thought it was really cool. And I think tech would be way more popular if all the marketing videos, the release of new versions were like this. So
it was amazing.
It was really cool. I think especially if you're in the JavaScript space, I think you probably get a lot of the stuff.
In the end, we are simple person, like programmers in general. So if we hear jokes about what we do daily, it's funny for us. Right?
Yeah. I think it was, even the style of the video and all these things. Like there's even one like what was it? In the end, some girl asks something and then he's like, yeah, and he's like like super cringy, It's just like smiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this one right now. Everything.
Yeah, there are even jokes in the background there.
In the background, right? Because it's like Node, but then you start the letters, then it becomes Deno, right?
Also, I think they were doing something with a string in JavaScript there. And you need to, I don't remember if it's about using an external library or something. And Deno comes with a very powerful standard library. Yeah. So every time you need to do something, it's already there, basically. Yeah. And they were displaying in the background a weird line in JavaScript to do something super simple.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
To fix. But,
looks really cool.
For me, it worked. After that, I was like, let me try this Deno framework.
That's it. I'm a JavaScript developer now.
I used it a bit for a Slack bot before.
Because
they are using this API. And it was not as good as now. You need still to, when you needed, for example, an NPM package.
Yeah,
it was not so straightforward.
But now
it's fully compatible. They don't use Node modules and all the rest. Also, the configuration is very simple. I like it.
One thing that I saw, and now like in Python world, UV is making all the noise. I also drew parallels in my mind. I know that Deno is also a runtime, so it's different, right? But one thing that I thought was cool is that from the JavaScript or TypeScript code, they can create a binary that runs on the different architectures.
Yes.
This is something that I really like Python to have. So if someone from UV is listening, I would really leave a suggestion there.
What do you mean? Give to the developers more details.
Yeah. So for example, so a binary is basically like ones and zeros, right? And it's just an executable. So you just have it on your machine and you click and it runs. In Python, you don't have that. You have basically you still need to send the code with the interpreter, right? So you send the instructions with the thing that can read the instructions and the instructions and execute in your machine. but sometimes a bit of a pain. So if you have a CLI tool, or and like I don't know, CLI is the command line interface, right? So it can be the AWS, can be Azure, can be Google Cloud. A lot of these things are actually written in Python, right? So basically, whenever you're running a command on the terminal, there's actually Python code that gets executed, interpreted line by line. But if you change the default Python that you're running, you may have issues, which that actually happened with me. I installed the latest Python, and my gcloud CLI tool broke, right? Because there was some standard library things that they didn't support. So basically, you always have to kind of keep track of these things, and then you have like pym to manage all these things, and you have pipax to have a different Python version for all. So like basically, people figure out a way around this. But I think the simpler solution would just to just have a binary.
Yeah.
Right. Or for example, if I want to have a simple desktop application and I want to send it to you, Vitaly, and I think you have a different Mac than I do. I need to send Python. I need to have installed the same Python that I have. This is for like the same version, but for a different architecture, blah, blah, blah. And I think it would be much nicer if you can just distribute these applications with a binary.
Okay. For multiple platforms, like
multiple platforms,
do UV, compile, whatever.
Which is what Deno does.
Win64 and bam.
It can be Linux, the ARM can be this, can be that, can be Windows. If you had something like this, I think it would be really, really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would be a happy person.
And also today we discussed about UV.
Yeah.
You need your calendar, like the video. Days without.
Let's see. There's a lot of stuff there. There was some other things like lock files that we won't have time to get into today. But yeah, hope that things for Python world, I hope that things keep going in a better direction, because the packaging story today in Python is not very.
Do you see in Python a similar situation as in the JavaScript world? Because in JavaScript, it's the reality. Like everybody wants to be, okay, we will release this framework, whatever, to fix the problems of all the other frameworks. And then there is yet another framework, basically.
Yeah, there is.
So now we have UV to, be the package manager.
Yeah, I think, but that's why I hope that one at least becomes the mainstream, right? And it's a good one, because I feel like poetry was the mainstream for a while. But poetry, I'm not as happy with poetry as I am with other tools, for example. But then, like you don't want to have 30 tools, right, to choose from. So let's see. I switched to UV. So today, if I have a new project, I will use UV.
Also, let's say in a professional environment, or just for yourself? Okay.
As long as if I have teammates that don't like UV for some reason, I will try to convince them. But that's the only thing. But I was using Rye. Actually, I still see one benefit of using Rye over UV, but okay, everyone's going towards UV. I'll just go towards UV. Let's try to let's just be on the same page, right?
Okay.
Kind of. So we'll see. So here's to better days.
We want someone from UV to discuss in this podcast.
I'll work on that. But I think that's all we have time for today. But thanks, Vitaly.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And maybe you can come back after you try Claude, click. Or no, what was the Claude? Was the Meta? Or both? Try both.
Both. If Claude doesn't do anything weird, then send some emails to my boss and they fire me. I will.
You get you get called by the Secret Service. Just
they arrest. What did you try to do with the
use Anthropic
FBI server?
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for listening, for following. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
You have taste in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
Put it there if you want.
I would recommend TypeScript. Yeah, it writes a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded, incidentally, of Rust here.
Rust. This almost makes me happy that I didn't become a supermodel.
Cooper and Netties.
Boy, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust.
Data topic.
Welcome to the data.
Welcome to the Data Topics podcast.
Ciao.